Hey, this is Brock with Straight Line Delivery. Wanted to make this video today to help you use all your resources, all your free resources. Everybody gets in a situation where they don't know what to do. Maybe it's a new situation. Maybe they're driving through a new state, hauling something different. Something happens with your ELD that you've never seen and you don't know what to do. And I want to share a few stories of things I've gone through and what I did to kind of address the issue and prevent it from being a problem any longer. I remember when I first started my trucking company, we were just running trucks and trailers that were plated for 26,000 pounds or less. So you didn't have to have a CDL to drive them. Just Class D in Ohio, which is a regular driver's license, would work just fine. That was fine. We kept having trouble in the state of Indiana, so our neighboring state to the west, and I couldn't understand what the problem was. We would get pulled over by state troopers. They would complain about us not having the proper weight listed for our trailer, and our truck was plated illegally, and they were going to tow the truck away at one point, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But what was actually going on was this. The federal government has defunded a lot of these scale houses. So you drive by them all the time, you see they're closed. They were there 10, 15 years ago, now they're gone. So they kind of deputized all the state troopers and sometimes even local sheriffs to say, hey, you need to help us patrol what's going on with trucking. You need to pull them over if you see something illegal, and here's your book. And they don't have as much experience as somebody that works in a DOT scale house or something like that. So I think they're doing their best, and they're used to only policing non-commercial applications. So what was happening in Indiana was this. In Indiana, if you have a truck that's rated for 12,000 pounds gross vehicle weight rating, then the most you could plate that truck for, and this is non-commercial application, just a regular guy's got a truck, you plate your truck for 12,000 pounds. Then if you get, let's say a gooseneck trailer that's rated for 14,000 pounds, then you rate the trailer on the plate for 14,000 pounds. Then you can use that truck and that trailer in any combination. So that's what they were used to seeing. When we came through under Ohio guidelines, because that's where we're from, Ohio, and we're also following federal guidelines, Ohio has you plate the truck for the heaviest trailer that you'll be pulling. So if you've got a 12,000 pound gross vehicle weight rated truck and a 14,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating trailer, as the manufacturer's stickers say on the truck door and on the trailer neck, then you plate it for 26,000 pounds even, no CDL. You can haul Bobcats or whatever, a lot of construction guys have a trailer similar to this setup. We were using like 25 or 30 footers with ramps. So in Ohio, you plate it just like you would in a commercial application. The truck holds the plate for all the weight, even in use with a trailer. So the guys in Indiana were getting totally confused and threatened to tow the driver's truck away at one point. So I told the driver, put him on speaker and let me talk to him. And I explained to him, I said, this is a commercial application. And I'm glad I was able to think quick on my feet because he was about to call the tow truck and screw up our whole day. He said, well, you don't have this trailer plated for any weight. You've got to assign a weight to the trailer and the truck. And I said, well, that's true in Indiana for a non-commercial application, but think about what you're saying here. This is a commercial truck, all right? So it falls under the same guidelines that were written with the spirit of the law being intended for full-size semis. That's kind of what the law was written for. Plumbers that haul backhoes, construction companies, semi-truck drivers. It was made for big equipment. The HOTSHOT thing 10 years ago wasn't such a big thing in Ohio. So I said, think about the law and what it was written for. It's written for semi-trucks, right? So you've got a tractor with a fifth wheel hitch and a trailer. Now, all those trailers have a plate but no weight on them. The tractor is plated for 80,000 pounds. Now, how in the world could 80,000 pounds fit on a tractor without the trailer. And he said, well, okay, I see what you're saying. I told him, look, if you don't believe me, before you tow this, we all go to court, you end up being wrong and getting in trouble from your supervisor, call a scale house. These guys do this every day. Call a scale house and see what they say. He finally did that. They told him what was what, and my driver went on his way. Still wasted an hour and a half of our time. But the point is, if you drive something that people aren't familiar with, or you're hauling a load where, I don't know what to do. This thing hangs over 4 feet, 3 inches, and do I need a flag, and how many, and where? On the corners or in the middle? Do I need to put a light on it? Yes and no, depending on where you're driving through. See, there's federal regulations, but then the states can tack on additional rules to fit their regulations. So an example would be, I've hauled stuff that hung over more than 4 feet. Okay, I need a flag. Well, how many? Just one in the middle? Well, it depends on how wide and tall it is. Well, what are the rules? Don't listen to me. I'm rusty. Maybe I remembered wrong. Go to the FMCSA website and read the rules. If after doing that, and this has happened to me quite a few times, after I read the rules, I'm like, I don't understand. I'm still like, this was too wordy. I don't get it. How is this enforced? What do they want from me? So I use another asset that's free. I call a scale house that's in the area, maybe even the one I'll be going through, and say, hey, look, I've got this load on. It's this long. It's this wide and this tall. What do I need to do to satisfy you guys? If I come through there at night, does it have to have a light on it? Does it have to have one flag, a flag on each corner, top and bottom, just bottom? What do you guys want to see? They love to hear you call ahead and try to obey the law, as opposed to just going through there. And it's so stressful going through there not knowing if you're legal or not and just hoping that you don't get caught. Call them. That's what they're there for. I've never had any of them, go, oh yeah, straight line delivery. You guys are the ones that called. I'm gonna hammer you. Sorry, I'm dying of thirst. I'm gonna hammer you because you did it wrong, or they don't want to do that. I mean, maybe there are some, but for the most part, they want to help you do the right thing. So I use my scale houses that I'll be driving through, and I don't call an Ohio scale house if I've got a question about taking freight through Michigan, because they look at things differently. They have different state laws. They interpret things a little bit differently. So if I'm taking a load that's, I think, a bit odd, or I'm not sure what to do with it, from Michigan through Ohio, into Indiana, into Illinois, whatever the route is, I might call a scale house along the route and go, what do you want to see? I've got this. It hangs over 4 feet, 3 inches. It's 5 feet wide. It's, 5 feet tall. Flags, lights, what are you after? And they'll tell you. Also, once you do that, ask them if they will. And sometimes I've said, can I use your name? And I've had guys go, no, don't attach my name to this. I'm like, well, okay, then state the law that you're quoting. Because it's always some, rule 833.432, and you can look it up and read it. I'll say, great, send that to me, or give me where you're getting that, and then I'll go and I'll take a snapshot on my phone. If it's something that's going to be happening over and over, like you're going to haul freight, like in Indiana, we're going to be using 26,000 pound HOTSHOTs in Indiana all the time. Instead of relying on my phone, what I did then is I just printed out a piece of paper. I put it in my 3-ring binder. And if you get pulled over in Indiana, you just open it to the Indiana page and you go, here, read this. We're not breaking any laws. And there's the statute. And here's a phone number you can call. Here's the gentleman I talked to last time this happened. The trooper cleared it through this scale house supervisor. And then when you start throwing names down, it's a lot more believable. Everyone's seen a video on YouTube, where a cop asks somebody for their ID and they state all these rules and statutes and say, I don't have to show you my ID, goodbye. And they just walk away and the cop's kind of like, oh, I don't know what just happened here. You want to be like that when you get pulled over. You want to be the guy that has so much proof that they know that you're not just winging it. You must know what you're talking about. And I know just by cops' reaction sometimes, They don't know that I proved myself right. I was just so confident and so well prepared. They just went, I'm not going to mess with this guy. I'm just going to let him go about his business. This is not worth it. So yeah, if you're going to be doing something over and over again that's questioned by the local authorities, or whether it's a sheriff, a town cop, a state trooper, get the rules from the FMCSA, print them out and stick them in your folder. If you're in an instance where you don't know what to do because you're hauling something and you're not, you've never hauled something that long, hung over that far before, call the scale house and ask them. You know, the shipper always tell you, oh yeah, we do this all the time, it's no problem. Well, just because you do something all the time doesn't mean it's not illegal. I jaywalk all the time. It's still illegal. You know, I just never get caught. I've never gotten a ticket for jaywalking. Last thing. The last thing is, if your ELD does something funny, you know, I've taken advice from other drivers, friends that are in the business I've called, but really, if you get screwed up and you're breaking the law, it's only you who's going to answer for it. So try to, at all times, use somebody who's qualified to answer the questions. So if it's about the load or about legality, call a scale house. If it's about the ELD, call the ELD provider first, if you can. Make sure you always carry paper logs, because when the ELD malfunctions, you're still responsible for keeping track of your time. So keep good track of your time through the ELD. If it fails, you've got to translate all that back onto paper. And the ELD provider can usually, on their end, help you reconstruct your day and say, okay, on my end, it shows you went on duty at 6 a.m. You picked up from 10 to 11:15. Then you went off duty. And they can help you reconstruct that until they can get it working. They're also well-versed in their 24 hours in how their ELD works. You say, hey, I don't know what's going on. It's doing something that I'm not sure if that's legal. I don't know I've been parked on the highway because there's a wreck. I've been sitting here for 30 minutes. It's shifted me to on duty, not driving. Is that right? What do we do? Ask them. Don't trust people that aren't qualified to answer questions. And I always encourage people, don't trust me. You don't know me. You don't know if I'm right. You don't know if I'm wrong. And, laws change all the time. I could be quoting you something that happened from 10 years ago that I still think is the law, and it's not. So always look everything up from somebody who's doing it right now. Scale House is a great, great resource and asset to use. The FMCSA, you can look that up, look up any rules about anything you have questions about. And it does get a little wordy. If you have questions, tell the scale house, here's the situation. I looked up this rule. Here's the rule I'm looking up. Can you tell me if I'm interpreting that properly? 99% of the time, they will be glad to help you and they'll keep you out of trouble. So don't panic. Just do everything you can to follow the law. And like I said, if they've got a record of you calling and making an effort to do the right thing, they're less likely to hammer you. I've spent days and days talking to DOT officers through, company inspections and things like that. And one thing it always boils down to, it seems like to me, all the guys I've talked to say, look, I'm not the boogeyman. I'm not here to put you out of business. I'm not here to hammer you. I'm here to make sure you're following the law. And if you're not, to help you follow the law correctly. But what they do hate is when people lie and try to deceive them and cheat their way through this system. That's what really makes them start to dig and get really interested in what else are you doing wrong. They're not there to bust an honest person. Not to say that we haven't been honest and gotten a violation, we have. But they know we're trying to do the right thing, and it keeps us completely off their radar. Unless we're absolutely screwing something up, we're pretty much off their radar, because they know the spirit of straight line delivery is to follow the law and do the right thing. And we have a long history of trying to do the right thing, and most of the time succeeding. We have very, very few violations. So I hope this was helpful for all you guys, whether you're driving or thinking about driving. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them on this video, or you can contact us. I'll leave some contact information at the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and safe driving, everybody.